Alright, let's try that again. Hopefully this time you can hear me and see my screen. Okay, so introduction. My name is Erica Thompson. I am a software engineer. I've been an engineer for over 11 years, almost 12 years in 1 month. Uh, I have done a little bit of everything from cloud infrastructure engineering to DevOps, but also just full stack web development and mobile application development. I absolutely love what I do. Before this, I was a nurse. I switched over to tech because I needed something that I could do from anywhere. Due to my husband being in the military, meaning we have to move a lot, I needed something that I could do and move with him, but also take care of my kids and be home with them. Uh, so I have been mentoring now for almost 7 years, teaching as many as I possibly can, civilians. But when I first started, my focus was on military, those transitioning out, and their spouses. Because I understand that whenever a military or a veteran moves, most of the time that spouse has to give up her job or their job. And so that was what pulled at my heartstrings quite a bit. Now I have been teaching as an instructor at a software school and also building my own companies as well. I have been mentoring, like I said, for a very long time, and I've had students go to amazing places like Microsoft, Google, and Facebook. And so I've been very fortunate that I could impact um, other people's lives so that they can create a better life for themselves, but also increase their income. I love what I do. It's what brings me joy, but also when I wake up in the morning, excuse me, I can't wait to help others. I am an introvert, so for me, this is not the easiest thing to do, but 2025 for me, I wanted to get out my comfort zone and go beyond just like 101 or like in person classes. And so this is me branching out, but also giving back. So I've told you a little bit about myself. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time now. And so let's just hop right into it. So the first thing we're going to do is set a timer. Most engineers have some type of timer around them, whether it's on their phone, whether it's on their computer. That's the Pomodoro method, which is one of my favorite methods that I utilize for myself, where I focus for 25 minutes with a 5 minute break. Um, that has been a game changer for me since I do have ADHD. I have found that that is one of the best ways that I can focus. So for me today, I have a old school kitchen timer that I'll be setting for our 40-minute session today. So let's go ahead. So we'll try to focus for as long as we can for 40 minutes unless we get done a little early or there's any questions that may arise. Alright, so first thing first, you should be able to see my screen. Let's talk about the classwork. So if you have not, you can join the Google Classroom. It is linked in my description. So if you click my name, go to my profile in TikTok, you should be able to see the Google Classroom link. If you do not see it, my link tree should have it on there, which is linked also in my TikTok description. Alright, so this is a 4-week intro to JavaScript, which is one of the base level programming languages that most developers start with because it's one of the easiest ones besides Python. So the course is laid out. We're going to start with an introduction to JavaScript. It's going to tell you about everything that's going to happen, what you need, the weekly schedule, and take home assessments. And even there is also some bonus things that you can also do as well. So the week one is what we're going to focus on, which are our first steps in JavaScript. We have the pre-class setup. So you want to install Google Chrome browser, create a free CodePen account, create a free Loom account, and complete the Get to Know You survey. If you do not see the Get to Know You survey, just let me know. After you have created those, you're good to go. We will not be downloading anything like Visual Studio Code or anything like that, or anything in your terminal to start out. It's just easier to get started with CodePen because everything you need is already there. From there, we'll be starting with a first JavaScript program where we'll be learning about variables, prompts, alerts, and how to add features to your choices. And then once we get done with that, you can submit a Loom video. The reason why I want you to submit a Loom video is because showing how your growth is, your journey as you learn, is good. So you can look back and remember like, hey, I did not know what a variable was at first, but now I do. But also, as you capture your journey, that can also be used to build who you are, or like your brand, I guess. So you can kind of show that to others and on your YouTube, because when we get through with this intro to JavaScript, you will have a working application. Our goal at the end of the week 4 is to have a fully functioning mood tracker that you can add to your portfolio, profile, or just add to your resume. So, I also have a group called We Who Code that I created. It is free and anyone can open and join, but it'll be a safe space for others to kind of get together and learn, but also office hours, and I'll have a Discord channel as well. We can discuss things, but also dive a little bit deeper. Okay, so let's dive right in. So we're going to talk about what a variable is and why do we need a variable. So in JavaScript, in most languages, you have what is called a variable. You assign things to variables. So imagine it like a box, or like if you're walking around your house and you're organizing things, and you have a cardboard box, and you put seasonings in this box out of this one cabinet, and then this other box you put your shoes into it, and then say one more box you put in your toiletries. And on the outside of the box, you'll write a label. You'll say toiletries, seasonings, and whatever else you have put into those boxes and categorize them. That is what a variable is. It's a way to label or put things into this box. So in this case, our label is username. So username is our variable name. Now, there will be times in code bases where you might see this. It's going to be null. A second. Let's get rid of those. Okay. You might see this var username. In the current way in which we utilize JavaScript, we use let versus var. Years ago, var was the typical way to assign a variable name. Now we use let. It allows us to say assign different things to it. So later on, we can reassign something else to username. So let's talk about it. So in this case, like I said, our variable name is username, and then we have what is called a prompt. Prompt is a window function. It's kind of built in already for you. JavaScript comes with built-in functions that you can utilize. That in this case, we're using the window prompt. So earlier you saw me exit out of these little boxes that popped up. Have you ever been making a choice or decision when you was going through a website and a box popped up that says, are you sure you want to quit this or cancel? Are you okay? That is called an alert. But in this case, we're using a prompt. A prompt will ask the user for feedback, or that asks the user a specific question, whatever it is that the developer wants to know. In this case, we are wanting to know what's your name. Let's get rid of var because we don't really use var. Some languages still depend heavily on var, but in this case, because it's not really relevant, I'm not gonna really dive deep into var, but just know that you can still use it, but the preferred way of naming a variable is using let when you want to allow yourself to reassign it. Later on, we'll talk about another way to assign a variable name that you cannot reassign it. Or so it's like if you had those boxes we talked about earlier and you've put a label on it and you want to cross it out and say, instead of having seasonings or shoes in that box, say you now want to add in towels, but bathroom towels. So you can take a marker and cross out the word seasonings and you can now put the word towels. That is reassigning. But if you use what is called const, you cannot reassign it. So it lets us know that, hey, you've already used that name. You're going to need to use something different. Okay, so let's get rid of this. We won't dive deep into the var. And we'll talk about, let's do const prompt. Let's ask, how old are you? All right. So in this case, we have two. We have a let username and then we have a const username. This is not allowed. You see this error that you're getting, a syntax error. This let us know that the identifier username has already been declared. This is our first error message. So this error message let us know something so important, like you can't reuse that. You've already labeled this box another name. We can't cross this one out. You said at the beginning, this box is very important. You can't relabel it. But if we were to say, instead of username, user age, what do you think will happen? The error message goes away because we are not reusing that identifier. All right, here we go. What's your name? So let's see what happens. My name is Erica. And I'll click OK. How old are you? I am 32. How are you feeling? Today I'm feeling okay. Let's bring our console up. We can also change it again. So let's say my name is no longer Erica and I am Stacy. How old am I? I am now, let's just say 25. And I'm feeling meh. All right, let's pull up our console. So, our console is a place where we developers go and we can see what is happening with our code. In this case, when we first started, because I hadn't really given the prompt any information about myself, I just kept pressing cancel. We have what is called null. Null just pretty much means nothing. It means that I have told you nothing. I have given you nothing, so therefore expect nothing. But later on, also remember whenever I use let and const, and I had let username and const username, not allowed. So therefore we got an error message. You have named this box seasonings and you have named this box seasonings. That's a bit confusing. We need to give them more descriptive names. Maybe this seasonings is only for barbecue seasonings, and maybe this seasoning is only for seafood seasonings. We need to have descriptive names and different identifiers. So here are the error messages for that. And then as you saw when I inputted my details in, it was no longer null. There is now a value. And in this case, we have what is called a string. So I gave it a string, which is, in this case, my name is Erica. I gave it another string, which is my mood is okay. And then I went back in again and I said, you know what? My name is Stacy and my mood is meh. Now, I want you to take notice of something that is very important, which is you currently do not see the user's age. Why is that? Why is it that we do not see the user's age? Something very important. We have what is called console.log. Console.log allows us as developers to see what a variable is or what the input is. So all we have to do is add in user's age. Oops. It's gonna be null now. Don't worry about it. User's age and users. So keep prompting. That's fine. Age. Let's make sure that matches. User. Oh, look at that. It's not users. You see this? User's age is not defined. I don't have a variable called user's age. I gave my variable a name of user age. This is very important. It's very important to take notice of what we call our variables so that later on in our code, we have the correct variable name. There we go. So let's clear our console. There we go. All right. And here we go. All right. So let's do a quick recap. We have a username, we have our user's age, and our user's mood. Let's see. I've done that. Let's talk about comments. Now, in our code, we can do what is called comments. So let's go back to put my name in Erica. 32. And I'm feeling good. There we go. Alright, so that is pretty much the basis of what a variable is. We have our let, which we can reassign. Remember the boxes. We can scratch off the name seasonings and put towels. Then we have our const. We cannot scratch off the name off the box and put a different name. We have already told what that box is, and that is what it is. We have our prompt. Our prompt takes in user information, our user's input. So we're asking that the user input some type of data, some type of information. And typically we would take that user data and that user information and we will store it somewhere in a database so that we can later utilize it or access it. It's sort of like, if you really think about it, a prompt is simply whenever you go log into a form, it is an input field that kind of pops up on your screen. But instead of it being where you like put in your email address within a form, it's a little bit floating above. It's what we call a modal. All right, so let's continue onward. So we have covered today variables. We have covered how we see our data of the console.log. And another thing I want to talk about that is very important. Now, when it comes to your console.logs, you do not have to do how I did here with the string in the front of your variable name. I choose to do that because it's much easier, because there can be a time in your code where if you're chasing a bug or you're trying to figure out what's happening or you're prop drilling, which you want to avoid if you can, where you want to know exactly what you're printing. And imagine having thousands or even hundreds, let's just say hundreds, of different variable names, and you're trying to see what do these variable names contain. So that is why I prefer to go this route. Let me show you how it looks if you did not have this in front of it. Alright, so name is Erica. Page 36. Let's say 36 and feeling great. Let's look at our console. There we go. What's it doing? There we go. As you see, it just says Erica. I don't know what the variable name was. How do I find that? This could be a whole different place in my code base. Like, where exactly am I looking for this? And so if you put, let's go a little earlier, where it says username, I know exactly what the variable is, and I actually know what the input is, versus here, I don't know what the variable name is. Okay, so that is that. That is what is important tonight. Prompts, variables, and how to see our data. Now, let's do a little bit deep dive. So a few minutes left, which is, let's go to the inspect panel. I want to show you something. You see this? Now, this is the outside of CodePen as a developer. So if you had a project that you're working on, typically we utilize our console within our dev tools. This is the dev tools. We get to them by simply pressing here and pressing inspect. That is how you get your dev tools. Any website you go to will have dev tools. See? Inside of dev tools, we have our HTML, we have our CSS, so many different things. We have our sources, our API calls, fetches, all these different things are happening. But the same thing that I'm showing you here, which is the console at the bottom, is available to you at any time. And another thing you can do is you can just open up your console and play around with it anytime you want. Let's make it a string. Nothing there. There we go. So you can play around with your console. It can do math. It can do just about anything you need all over here. So this is your console. As a developer, it's a place that we use a lot. But it's also pretty fun because sometimes when you go to your console at certain websites, companies will have job ads here, little riddles here, by hidden Easter eggs here. There's so many different things that's in your console. All right, so let's go back to the subject. All right, so that is pretty much all we are covering tonight. We got through that a little bit faster than I thought. Let's go look at our classwork tonight. So, tonight, all your task is to do is to create a program. You're going to ask for the username, which we went over here. You're going to use at least 2 variables. Remember, variables is like the box. And you're naming that box. And you're putting things in it. So you can ask for username, user age, user mood, user location, whatever you want to ask for. It is up to you. And use your prompts for that user input. We went over prompts. And you can also do alerts the same way as well. So, we can do a quick alert. Okay, there we go. Alright. So it is your name. My name is Erica. Alright. Oh, I put it around it. There we go. There we go. So message. So alert is whatever you want it to be. In this case, let's do alert for it is now 8:47 p.m. Let's do how it keeps popping up, but we're not gonna worry about it. Oh, there it is. It is now 8:47 p.m. So that is an alert. An alert simply allows you to let a user know something very important. Typically, it's like you're alerting them that they have went to the wrong side of the website and that they need to go log in. You're alerting them that this could be a bad website. Please exit. There's so many different ways that you can utilize an alert. And a place I recommend looking for information that I love to use and reference and send people to is we3schools.com. It has just about everything you could think of. We have all the different window functions and objects that you can go and learn more and more about. There's also a JavaScript section where you can learn even more JavaScript and you can try it yourself and see. And this is all by utilizing time. So there's so many different things that you can do as an engineer or as you grow as a developer. But for now, the focus is what a variable is, what an alert is, and a prompt. How we use console logs, and that will get you through the week 1 work. But that is it. So I had fun. I enjoyed this. I look forward to see you all again next Thursday. Please take care of yourselves and be kind to yourself. Have a good night.